Now, this is a song I really love, but even the title hides the true story behind She Said. And what's funny is it wasn't actually a she, but a he, actor Peter Fonda. It all starts in 1965 at a drug-fueled party in Los Angeles. John, George, and Ringo are all tripping on acid, and Peter Fonda is about to make things even weirder. That was a good song. I feel really weird.
Do I look weird?
Kind of weird. Do I look weird?
No.
Hi. John, George, relax. You see, I know what it's like to be dead. When I was a boy, I shot myself on accident. And I died 3 times, 3, on the operating table. There was so much blood I lost. Okay?
Is there a Playboy bunny underneath that table?
I think so. We were on a trip on acid, and the sun was shining, and the girls were dancing, and the whole thing was beautiful and 60s. And this guy, who I really didn't know, kept coming over wearing shades saying, "I know what it's like to be dead." And we kept leaving him because he was so boring. So I wrote it in the song, but changed it to she instead of he. But you know a guy, when you're flying high, I know what it's like to be dead. It was scary. Don't tell me about it. So yeah, that was pretty creepy. But there's one other thing I think is very important to mention about this song. It's the fact that Paul McCartney didn't even play on it. Now, through time, even Paul can't really recall exactly what was the reasoning behind it. He says maybe they had an argument and the rest of the boys did it without him. Another possibility, although I must warn you, this isn't a confirmed fact, it's more like a legend. But there's a possibility that Paul and the other boys had a bit of a falling out at that moment because Paul hadn't done acid at the time. And if it is true, well, that's really sad. Because imagine the kind of peer pressure you would feel that 3 of your best friends in the world are doing something that maybe you aren't ready to do just yet. Even if you're on top of the world and heralded as a music genius in your 20-somethings, you might still be susceptible to this kind of thing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and argue that drugs aren't influential in music writing. But what I will say is, you've heard it before. You've heard the stories, oh, the Beatles wouldn't have been the Beatles if it wasn't for doing these drugs. And Jimi Hendrix, well, he's a great guitarist, but it's really the drugs that took him to the next level. Yes, I agree that doing those kind of things is a pretty big life experience, but I believe there are other life experiences too that can lend itself to making a person a better artist. Falling in love, having your heart broken, having your fair share of tragedy and joy, all of these things are life experiences that influence your art. And I believe drugs are just another life experience. But I don't believe it's as integral as some people make it out to be for an artist to be truly great or truly otherworldly, as much as determination, hard work, and practice can be. So in the end, there are many ways to open up your mind in this life. Or you could be Peter Fonda and freak people out at parties on acid.
He said, I shot myself as a kid.
I lost a lot of blood, and I died on the table 3 or 4 times. Alright, that was a pretty terrifying explanation, but we got through it. I wanted to tell you guys something interesting. Last week I asked you guys for my birthday to help me out with an open tweet to May Pang, seeing if we can get an interview. And guess what? We actually got a response. And it's not a no, but what it says from a person at her PR team is that she's currently unavailable for an interview. But May Pang says to say hi to all of my 13,000 subscribers, which is a big win for us. And maybe in the future, in the near future, we might actually be able to get this interview with May Pang. And I have you guys to thank for that. So good job, and I'll see you next week. He said, I shot myself as a kid. I lost a lot of blood, and I died on the table 3 or 4 times.